Hello, welcome to another episode of the Attractions Group podcast. Today's going to be a great episode. It's just me and David. We're going to be talking about all sorts of wild things. What is upcoming for the Attractions Group podcast? Six Flags Kadea City, Legoland, and more pieces of the news. Welcome to the Attractions Group podcast.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going good. And how are things for you?
Things are great for me. Obligatory, before we get into anything too serious, obligatory question about your subheading today. Pac-Man
Oh,
Ghost
goodness.
Stunt Double. That's amazing.
What, yeah, when Valley Midway came out with the game, they needed people to take the sacrificial part of being the ghost so that they could chase the Pac-Man. And the Pac-Man, actually, I wish I'd known that was coming. I would have had a much better story to go with it than trying to come up with one on the spot. But it is what it is. See, now, this goes into, and I think we were going to say, what has been going on the past week.
Right.
And that brings me to our family did a little thing down in Gatlinburg, in the Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg area. We were going to go to Dollywood, but we're going to go from Thursday to Tuesday, and then it became Thursday to Monday, then Friday to Monday. So we had to cut some things out. Never did make it over to Dollywood because, unfortunately, there was the potential of an interview with the park president there, and that just didn't happen. It'll probably happen sometime in the next few weeks, but it didn't happen. We had to cut a couple things off. However, have you ever been to the Pigeon Forge Strip recently?
Yeah, it's been a couple years, but yeah.
So, do you have a favorite go-kart track?
Oh, I don't know. Not by name, certainly. I do love NASCAR Speed Park, though.
Okay, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Didn't go there. So, it's a couple weeks ago, John Dunlap, CEO of Five Star Parks and Attractions, was on. He mentioned they had 3 parks down there. So, of course, we're going down there. That was already something we had planned. And so we went down there and visited all 3 parks. And
Nice.
their big one is called Laserport. And when you go into Laserport, it is like a large arcade that you walk into, and all sorts of video stuff. So you go in there and you do the thing, you do the laser tag, you do the arcade stuff, and you go to their indoor blacklight putt golf, which I won,
nice.
by the way. I was 6 months. I won that one. I won't confirm or deny I didn't cause some people to do bad hits, but it happens. And of course, they have the race car track there,
Right,
which is a lot of fun. And one thing that you got to know, I grew up in the '80s, and thank goodness, Clete, you probably you weren't even a thought back then, but during the '80s, there was this game called Pac-Man. It came out in either 1981, 82, 83, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I was a certified Pac-Man fever person.
right.
The games were so popular, they made songs about it. And I was one of those people that couldn't wait to go into the arcade or to the grocery store, wherever the Pac-Man game was, flip a quarter in and play my game.
Nice.
And so all to the sense of, here a couple weeks ago for Father's Day, my daughters thought it would be a good idea to get Dad a Pac-Man, like the big Pac-Man console game, which is now parked in our basement.
Cool.
And so I'm reliving all this Pac-Man fever stuff. Fast forward, we go down to Pigeon Forge, and we're going to the Laserport, and we're doing the deal, and they get the credits on their card to go swipe through the thing and get their games played. And they're burning through these $4 games. I don't know if $1 equals 1 credit, or if whatever it is, but sometimes those credits are like 3 credits a game, or $3 a game, or $4 a game. I'm going back to the restroom and park, which goes to show how popular the game is. It's packed by the restroom. On my left, as I go into the door, is a Ms. Pac-Man game. Not just any Ms. Pac-Man game, but one of those turbocharged ones that goes really, really fast.
Wow.
And I go back there, and I thought, well, we'd hit maybe an hour or 2 there. We ended up being in this location for about 4 hours. And every time my family come around, where's Dad at? They come around the corner, and I hear them laughing in the corner. I'm at the Ms. Pac-Man game. Those suckers were out of credits on their cards quickly because $3 or $4 a game, it tends to
I
spend stuff pretty fast. I am here to tell you that it only cost me a quarter every time I swiped, and I was Ms. Pac-Man master that day. Which the high score is 5,400, which means it probably doesn't get played too often, which explains why it's back by the bathrooms.
Well,
But
they probably ran out of credits not only because they were playing more expensive games, but also because you almost never needed to swipe because you were never losing any lives.
I wasn't going to come right out and say that, but you're kind of accurate.
Good. Okay, good.
But in our cabin, we also had there's Pac-Man because see they started with Pac-Man, then they started Pac-Man 2, Pac-Man 3, Pac-Man Junior, and it got a little diluted. But also
Right.
had this game, multi-game thing we had in the basement at the cabin had Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Which it's hard to believe that brand new attractions at Universal revolve around Donkey Kong or
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi, and it started all the way back in the 80s, 40
Yeah.
some years ago, and it's still making money today.
That is pretty crazy.
It
That
is.
is pretty
Sorry,
crazy.
went off on a tangent.
No, but that was good. That was exciting. Very cool.
But you have a trip coming up.
Yes, I do. I'm leaving the 20th of July,
Okay.
which is like today, basically, and I will be going starting in Washington D.C. We're gonna go to Six Flags America because we better go
I'm
now.
burning out.
Then we're gonna do Busch Gardens Williamsburg as well as King's Dominion, down to Carowinds, down to Six Flags Over Georgia, and then actually all the way down for a couple days in Orlando at the end. So it is going to be a great
Okay.
time. I'm very excited.
Road trip.
Yeah, exactly.
And you talk about Six Flags America, and I think we brought this up before, but it bears questioning again. When you go there and you walk around, and it will probably not be doing an episode next week because you'll be out doing the thing. But the following week we do a more or less a Cleats trip report. Be very interesting to see as you walk the Six Flags America Park, what rides do you think are going to be repackaged as new experiences versus they're just going to the scrap heap?
Yeah, it'll
Maybe we
be
talked about that before, but you actually be there, so it'd be good to see what your input is on that.
yeah, that'll be an interesting point for sure. For sure. So yes, I'm very excited about that. And then also um I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just really excited. I really just want to bring up, since you haven't yet, my Firehawk shirt. Uh, I just wanted an excuse to do that. So yes, shout out to
They
Firehawk.
have one of the. Doesn't Six Flags America have a roller coaster that is the exact clone of what the Firehawk was?
Yes, they do, and
Okay.
it recently derailed. Uh, this was
Derailed.
this was like this week or last
I
week.
didn't hear that.
Yeah, we would have probably gone the whole episode without mentioning this if you not said that. It's called Batwing, and maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe like 9 days, the zero car on it like popped off the track mid cycle. So like it was the zero car, so there's nobody on it or anything like that. It's not really a big deal. I mean, it's a big
What's the
deal.
zero car?
So if this is row one, sometimes there's like a little half car that doesn't have any
Okay.
people on it. Like Mystic Timbers has the little truck hood in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Batwing had a little thing like that, and that part is the part that like came off the track, which
Wow.
is not good. So that does not bode well for it to be, reinstated somewhere else. But I don't know. I don't know anything yet.
Are they going to get it back? Is it back in operation? I didn't hear that.
I think they just took that train off and just kept rolling. A couple hours later. So
Nothing to
what
see here, folks.
you're right, exactly. But we'll see. We'll see if they're back to 2 train operations by next week when I'm there.
Now they're installed about the same time, and in the Firehawk version, which was X Flight Geauga Lake, was taken down. I don't know if it's because Orion was coming and they needed a spot to put it, and that was a natural spot for it, and some maintenance issues helped that, or if it was legitimately at the end of its service life.
I think it was the maybe a little bit at the end of its service life, but I think they could have got 5 more years out of it without too much trouble. I think They
it's
needed
kind of
that
a
land to be unlocked,
they
all
did
the land past it to be unlocked.
now. And for that ride though, it seems kind of interesting that they wouldn't have tried to relocate it like they did from yeah, it was came from Geauga Lake. Well, I was thinking
Yeah.
Six Flags Worlds of Adventure, but it was Geauga Lake after that.
Yeah, that's
If not
interesting.
mistaken, you may have insight on this before, more so than I would. Originally,
Hmm.
wasn't the Firehawk X Flight originally scheduled to go at the then Paramount's Kings Island, where the King Cobra was?
Oh, yeah, I think
I've heard
I
that
don't I'm
rumor
not I've heard that rumor as well. I don't know for sure. But that is an interesting thought to think about what if that had happened. Like with Son
because
of
it did go
Beast,
to other Six Flags. Didn't it go to another? Goodness, what was it? That kind of roller coaster. What was that called?
The
Flying
flying.
Dutchman. Is that what it was?
Yeah, become a Flying
Flying
Dutchman. Yep.
Dutchman.
Yep.
It went to a couple of other Paramount parks, didn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
California's Great America, and then into Carowinds got one that was Nighthawk, and
Okay.
that was it. But yeah, for sure. There were only 3 ever built, and they'll all be defunct soon. But I think all got relocated at some point.
Hmm.
It's kind of a weird ride model, but of course they've revived the ride model. New Vekoma has, and Fly at Fantasia Land is received some of the best reviews of any flying coaster in the world. So we got a field trip to northern Germany.
And we'll wait on that trip report.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
Well, I suppose let's get into some of this week's other news besides the derailment of Batwing. Maybe some more positive sides of
Yes.
the attractions industry news. Starting off with Legoland. This is a very exciting piece. Legoland has revealed some more details about their new for 2026 roller coaster here in Florida and then also in California because they're going to be the same ride. It's going to be space themed. It is going to be indoor. I think maybe the most intriguing fact about it is the budget between the 2 rides is $90 million.
How
$90
much?
million for 2 rides. That's pretty intense money we're spending. But
That is.
yeah,
You don't
I'm
normally hear
surprised.
about in Merlin Entertainment's spending that. That's definitely. I'm not saying they never spent that much before, but it's usually when you hear those big dollar amounts, it's usually Universal, Disney, Six Flags, Cedar Fair. Those are normally the names attached to those.
Yeah,
Not normally, you don't normally see a Merlin or a Palace
yeah.
hooked up to that amount of money.
I could see Merlin doing that in Europe, maybe, but like out of Legoland in the U.S. is a shocker to me. I mean, this is like Orion cost $40 million. We're talking about more than that on these indoor space roller
Mm-hmm.
coasters. That is intriguing. That's all I got. That's a very intriguing.
Are you familiar with the Legoland Park in Winter Haven?
Vaguely, I've never been actually. I've been to
Okay.
the one in California, but I've never been to this one.
Now,
But
there
I'm
does
pretty familiar.
would you classify the one, at least I'm not familiar with the one in California, but the one in Florida, would you classify that as a destination park or as a regional park?
Definitely a destination park.
Definitely
Pe-
destination.
For sure. It's not gonna, I don't think you have people coming from Japan to go to Legoland, Florida. That just doesn't happen because there's a lot more
Hmm.
Legolands and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people will say, I'm going to go to Disney or I'm going to spend some time in Orlando and tag on 2 days at Legoland at the end. Or
Hmm.
I think situations like that are the most common. But then also among maybe Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North and South Carolina, I think you do have people that drive in just for Legoland and skip the rest of Orlando. But I think usually it's a tag on, is the way I kind of
It's
feel it.
interesting with how that was at one time Cypress Gardens, which is very much I believe it's like a lot of native plants and different gardens in the area.
Yeah.
I think they're famous for their ski show, which I don't know if they still have that or not. If they
Yeah.
retain many parts of the old Cypress Gardens, or if that's
Yeah.
even part of the park at all. Because I do remember when they were making that transition from Cypress Gardens and the Cypress Gardens Adventure Park to Legoland. Basically, they cleared everything, and the
Yeah.
only things that were left were maybe a roller coaster or two that they're going to retain. But I don't know how much of that did they keep from Cypress Gardens because it operated as a successful park for years.
Yeah. I
And
think like none of it though. Like the plants and some of that sort of thing stayed, some of the basic infrastructure, but like I don't think they do the ski show anymore. They have like boats you can take that go to and from some
Mhm.
of their hotels that follow that sort of path, but it's totally Merlinized these days.
Merlinized.
Yeah.
But it has been I think a very well thought out, methodical growth plan that park has had.
Yeah.
Because the money they've invested into it, they've done it wisely. Because now going back to Six Flags' mistake when they did Geauga Lake, they took it over and built it up too fast.
Yeah.
There's no park infrastructure around, no hotels, no things for people that are driving from out of the area. It was developed as a destination park, but there's nothing to keep people there. There's nothing around. There's no infrastructure for attractions outside of the park.
Yeah.
Legoland there in Winter Haven, on the other hand, they have they've methodically grown it to the point where it could legitimately be a destination park. Obviously not like a Disney or Universal, but it holds its own very well.
Yeah. It
And I think
does.
some of these very unique attractions are going to help that.
Yeah, and not to mention, I mean, they have two hotels. Now they have three parks with Peppa Pig Park, your Peppa Pig Land opening up a couple years ago. So it's definitely moving up in the world, which is super
It
cool.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So here's another news item, unless there's more to go
Okay.
on that.
No, I
How
think
about
we're good.
Alpine Fury finally open?
Finally
Now,
is right.
of all, well, it's hard to pick things on a park for this, and I don't know how much the supply chain issues of a couple years ago are still dogging some of these installations, but it does seem like they're not hitting their targets like they used to. And I don't
Yeah.
think that's just a Cedar Fair Flags thing. I think that's across the industry.
Yeah.
But and I tell you what, I've never been to Canada's Wonderland. I'm surprised that you're not going to hit that on your adventure trip next week. But I tell you what, I've taken the went on the YouTube and did the POV of that. I don't know if you've done that or not.
Yeah,
Sometimes I wish I wouldn't do those because it kind of takes away
it
the
does.
surprise element to the roller coaster. However, that said, I'm probably not going to be going to Canada's Wonderland anytime soon, so I took liberties to watch it anyway. And I tell you what, this may be one of the best Cedar Fair Legacy coaster installations.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the POV is incredible.
Yeah.
They have they made great use of that mountain that was in the middle of the park, making tunnels down in it and having a light, not a light show, but different
Kinda.
lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, going through there, it's incredible, and it
Yeah.
looks like it is a nonstop adventure from the time it leaves the station to the time it returns.
It definitely does.
Very
I
very
think
well done.
Yeah, I think it's Premier Rides' masterpiece. I think Premier and Cedar Fair, they kind of agreed, like, I'm sure that's how that had to go. It's hard for me to believe that Premier has a better coaster than what Alpine
Mhm.
Fury looks like it is. I mean, I love Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando, but I'm in the minority there, I will admit. But no, I'm serious. I think Alpine Fury looks like it's a Premier's trying to put their name in there to have a top 25 coaster in the world.
Yeah, and I say this is one of the last Cedar Fair era roller coasters being installed. That's actually not true because it takes a long time for a roller coaster to get developed.
It
I would
does.
probably say 26 next year. Those will still be legacy Six Flags and legacy Cedar Fair
Yeah.
installations, and to a lesser extent, 2027, probably 2028. That's where the line starts.
Yeah.
But
It,
as far as a Cedar Fair installation, probably one of the best.
yeah. I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. In Canada's
And
Wonderland, it's
congratulations
getting
on the
better.
park. It's I think it's been better for a while. You just don't hear a lot about it this side of the border.
Yeah, that's just true too. I mean, they have a ton of coasters. That's always been true. But they used to like Mighty Canadian Mindbuster was super rough, and everyone would say like, it's kind of bad. And then they had,
Mhm.
your Vekoma SLC and your Zampera Volare, the two most hated roller coaster models ever built, right next to each other. That's rough, And then they closed their Volare. I think their SLC is still open, but that'll close, and they'll have a big plot of land there,
Mhm.
and they'll build a B&M invert, and then it'll be a top 3 park in North America. I don't know. Sounds
Where would you
reasonable to
rate it
me.
right now?
I don't know. I mean, top 5 probably. I've never been, so it's hard for me to really say. But I mean,
What are
it's
your top five?
top five.
Does this leave the Disney and Universal parks out?
Let's do that. That seems
Yeah.
easier. Hershey Park,
Okay.
Cedar Point, Knott's Berry Farm. Wild choice, but Six Flags New England. I just love that place. And I would say I'm going to put Busch Gardens Williamsburg in the top five, even though I've never been.
Okay.
I think that's definitely a top five park in North America. So just
I
off the
was at
dome.
Busch Gardens in Williamsburg a long time ago, and I just remember how incredible everything was. Just attention to detail, from the landscaping to the floral to the meticulous parts of the ride. I think that was about a year or two after Dragonfire, I think I'm pronouncing it right,
Yeah.
had been removed from the park.
Yeah.
But I think Apollo's Chariot was new maybe a year or two the last time I was there, which it hasn't been recent at all. But a very nice park.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. I mean, they win the golden ticket for best maintained park like every year. So that says
Yeah.
something for sure. For sure. But while we're talking about Virginia, I have to say,
Okay.
all right, I don't want to get myself in any trouble by saying anything here, but who on earth thought it was a good idea to rename Intimidator 305 to Pantherion? Your biggest competitor is about an hour away, and they built this awesome new big coaster, and they named it Pantheon. And after they built Pantheon, you renamed your biggest and best coaster to Pantherion? What?
Yeah, Intimidator 305 obviously is, boy, I'm not a huge racing fan, but that was Dale Earnhardt Jr., right?
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, what year did that accident happen?
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good guess either.
I would venture to say that most of the people that enjoy that ride right now weren't even. Is it fair to say
Alive.
they weren't alive when that?
Yeah, yeah.
When
It's
that
fair to
was
say.
put up. So Intimidator 305 might as well be Dominator. I mean,
Yeah,
they probably don't know it. They probably don't know what Intimidator 305 even is.
yeah.
So
That's true.
I guess it makes sense that you rename it. But yeah,
I'm with
to
you.
give it a similar name.
Yeah, and I'm sure the theming is lovely. I'm just
Yeah,
playing fun, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
I
It's
guess
pretty
it's a
funny.
real life example of cost synergies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You can have similar merchandise. You can
Yes,
Me as a person, I can just buy one shirt that says Pantheon and get a piece of paper and say Irion when I go
there
to
you go.
Kingston. Yeah, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do.
So, and not all the good news, or I'm sorry, not all news this week is good. There's
Mm.
an announcement that came out of Texas this week. ZDT's amusement park in Texas is going to close after 18 years. The final day of the park and the final day of the season, final day for everything is August 17th. Now, what are the odds that Clete is going to make a drive down to ZDT's to check it out before it closes?
Now that you've said that, they're way higher. I didn't even think about it. I might have to do that. I might
That's a
have
road
to.
trip.
Yeah, I have to
But
look at
they are
how
open
long
for
on
18
I-10.
years.
Hmm.
I believe it was a family park, a family-owned park, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely.
And they have a gravity group roller coaster there. One of the wooden switchback. If I'm not
Switchback, a
mistaken.
shuttle coaster, a wooden
Yes.
coaster that goes backwards. Weird,
I
weird.
tell you
So
what,
cool though.
since going to Holiday World last month, really a fan of the gravity group's coaster there.
Yeah, of course.
Really a
They're
fan. It just
awesome.
nonstop from the time it's shot off, not shot off, but went up the lift hill to the time you got back. What a
Yeah,
crazy ride!
yeah. Gravity Group they're top. They're amazing, and they're based in the greatest city in the world too. So that helps. That helps.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
the greatest city could have the greatest baseball team coming out of the All Star break.
we
But
will.
that's a
I
different
think
story.
Matt McClain is going to hit 400 for the rest of the season, but that's a bit. That's a big ask. I just.
I don't know.
But
A lot of perhaps prognosticators are forecasting that one of the major needs is second base. That doesn't
oh,
bode well for him.
get out of here! Get out of here!
Yeah, he's too hot and cold. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't play baseball, or I'm too old to play baseball. No one wants me playing, so I will go with the armchair quarterback for a different sport.
I like it. I like it. But yeah, CDT. I saw about 7 months ago. I was on one of those used rides for sale websites where you buy old
Hmm.
carnival rides
Yeah,
and I saw Switchback was for sale. So
yeah. They secretly, or quietly, if you want to call it, had listed for sale at the IAPA Expo last year.
had they even
People,
at the
people that,
expo?
yeah, I am. I don't know this to be certain, but I believe it was at the Gravity. I think the Gravity Group had a booth last year. I think it was at maybe at their booth. I can't recall, but most people saw it, and I don't think people were thinking that it was going to close. Maybe that time, maybe most of the people did, but I think a lot of people maybe they tie themselves in too tightly financially there, and they need to sell to reset the clock a little bit. But
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
it
But it
is.
was a major investment for the park, and sometimes those things work out. Some you got to go big or go home, and
Right.
yeah, I'm not sure what the reasons are for closing, but uh, I'm sure some of that had something to play with it.
Yeah. And hopefully all the best to that family that they can
Hmm.
just have a great sale and do well with the land
Yes,
and everything like that because it was a great place for a lot of people for sure. For
absolutely.
sure. Speaking of great places, um, maybe the most insane thing to ever happen in the history of roller coasters is is Six Flags Qiddiya City, and in
Oh my goodness.
particular is Falcon's Flight. As you may have seen, it is testing. Falcon's Flight, the world's
It
tallest
is,
coaster by over 100 feet, is testing.
no,
Um,
wait, by 100 feet or 200 feet? I thought you said 200 in our
it's
pre-show.
less than 200, but it's more. It's like 180 feet taller than Top Thrill Dragster. The drop
Okay,
is 612 feet. The drop is or something. I mean, how is that even a real
that's
number?
just insane.
That's
That's,
crazy.
that's I can't wrap my head around that. I think we were talking about this a little before. Is there going to come a point where the human body can only take so much as far as no, I'm serious. It's one thing to be going that fast down a hill in a car. It's another thing to have the wind going against your face and going down a set of metal steel rails.
Yeah.
Is there going to come a point? Now, quite honestly, I thought when King of Con King of Cot and Top Thrill Dragster came out, I thought that was kind of pushing the limits of it. But at the same time, this is a lot taller than that, and I can only assume a lot faster than that.
Yeah.
And I wonder, is there going to come a point where there's it's going to hit its limits
I'm sure at some point, yes. I
at
wonder
some point?
if people will try to like enclose the roller coaster, which would defeat the purpose, but some people might not agree with me on that. Like I think it would be stupid to have a roller coaster where you're like in an enclosed capsule, but maybe somebody doesn't and they'll build a 2,000 foot tall enclosed capsule roller coaster. The amount of land you would need because like every single valley has to be so wide so that you don't pull too many
Mm-hmm.
G's. Every single turn has to be so big. But I don't know. These are crazy, crazy things we're talking about, but apparently real. If you listen to the video, if you watch one of the off-ride footages of the Falcon's Flight test runs with audio, it genuinely sounds like a fighter jet. There's
Huh.
a drop where you drop off of like a 500-foot cliff. And then at the bottom, you don't do any elements. At the bottom, there's a launch.
A launch because
You're
when you
you,
drop 500 feet, you need one.
you're not going fast enough. And then you go into the biggest standalone hill in the world. It's like 570 feet tall, and it's just an airtime hill.
That's crazy. You know,
It's just, I
and kudos to that part of the world. They're really focusing a lot of energy to get themselves past or in a post oil economy to
yeah,
be more tourism. And there's a lot of investment going that way. From SeaWorld's got a park over there, Universal's building one, Disney's building one. You got Six Flags over there now, and I think I'm missing one or two.
there's a
And
Legoland. Yeah, too.
I'm not wanting to be negative. I'm just asking a question. That's a lot of investment in a short amount of time to go into one area of the world. Is tourism really going to is there going to be a lot of tourism head to that direction?
I think so. Now,
You think so?
the thing that is interesting, of course, is there's basically two like hotspots for this. There is the United Arab Emirates, where tourism is already a big sector. There's not a lot of theme park tourism right now, but there's tourism that goes to the UAE, to
Right.
Dubai, Abu Dhabi. This exists. That's where they're getting most of the parks. That's where Disney's building. That's where Dreamscape is. That's where SeaWorld is. That's where Warner Brothers is. That's where we've seen most of the money go. Qiddiya City is not, it's like genuinely in the middle of nowhere. And while Qiddiya City is going to have a lot more than just Six Flags Qiddiya City is basically all a ground up project. They're building like a sand dune facility there where you can like ride sand dunes and stuff like that. They're building, I think, an artificial ski lodge for the colder months. They're building like all kinds of things. Like the whole city is centered around the concept of play, is the idea. But there is literally zero proven tourism to there. So if the tourism is gonna be a problem somewhere, I think it would be for Six Flags, not for those parks in the UAE.
Now, that's not a true Six Flags park, right? That they're managing it, but they're not. It's another investor group, kind of like what Disney's doing. It's got
Yeah,
Disney's name on it, but it's not really Disney that's doing it.
yeah, and Tokyo Disney is the same way. To be
Okay.
fair, it's I think Disney has their hand a lot more even in with their project and what Six Flags does. I think Six Flags has kind of given their name some general oversight and like operational advice to the group that's running it, and some of the partnerships with the ride manufacturers and so forth. They get to help, say, hey, we're building, we have this new park that's coming up. It's Saudi Arabia with our name on it. Will you help us with, to Intamin and whoever it might be? So, but yeah, not really a Six Flags park in any meaningful way.
Yeah, it would be great to be in that part of the world where just from oil investment over the years of how having all that money at your disposal and being able to say, we got all this money. What should we do? Let's try this. Let's build this. Here's
Yeah,
a big plot of nothing but desert as far as you can see. Let's build an amusement park and the whole infrastructure around it.
yeah.
Some of the architectural things that have come out of that part of the world, uh, the islands that they built out in the middle of the
In Dubai, yeah,
Dubai. That's just incredible.
it's insane, insane. In at Six Flags Qiddiya City, the whole park is air conditioned. The
I would assume you'd need that,
Yes, but it's outside. That's I mean, yeah.
but Clee, it's a dry heat.
That's true. That's true. It is a dry heat. It is a dry heat. So that's good. But yeah, I mean they're literally air conditioning just like
Yeah,
200 acres.
I don't care. 120 degrees is still hot.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You will still need it. This is crazy. This is insane. Cool, cool. Okay, was there something else on the news front of things?
Yeah, there was, but it's not really newsworthy to be honest. But it was. Are we recording this?
I'll cut it out.
Okay. Where Six Flags Great America reactivates the chaperone policy. Not
Yeah,
really.
we can skip it. Unless you want to
Yeah.
talk a lot about other chaperone policies. But I'm good.
No, it's just a no. It's. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. Sounds good.
So then,
All right.
let's see. Where do you want to go for the next 10
Well,
to 15?
we wanted to talk about um let's talk about Six Flags Upcharge Halloween and then dovetail that into the charge per land.
Okay. How do we end that last section off?
Pretty cleanly. It was just like
Okay.
yeah, but it's a dry heat, so
Okay.
I can jump right in. So we've talked a little bit about this before, but Six Flags at their parks, the Legacy Six Flags parks, when you go to Fright Fest, you, as a pass holder, are able to go to Fright Fest throughout the entire day. when it's normal Six Flags during the day or Fright Fest at night, you can go, you can ride your favorite rides, you can eat your favorite food, and
What
you
I
can
do?
have. No, I'm laughing at the idea of eating your favorite food at a Six Flags park, but
Ah,
uh, but you can have a good time. You cannot, however, if you're just a pass holder, enjoy the haunted houses. You'll have scare actors coming up to you. You'll see Halloween decorations, but you can't
hmm
go in the haunted houses unless you buy an upgraded wristband that allows you to do the haunted houses for that night. It's not very expensive, but that's what it is.
hmm
What do you think about this when we talk about Halloween Haunt? Do you think that that's coming to Halloween Haunt?
Now I don't know if this is official, but I've seen screenshots of something that's coming to King's Dominion. I don't know if that's on their site yet. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't. I'm not sure. It is on their site.
I don't know, but I've
Is it
also seen it. I know what you're talking about, is all I'm saying. Yeah.
the screenshot I saw? It seemed that the mazes and the haunted houses, or whatever you want to call them, at the haunt event was an upcharge of $30,
Yeah.
which it seems a little steep. And I got some opinions on this, and I think I think they're going to face a lot of blowback on it. To be honest, I think they will, because you're taking something that in the past historically has been free, and now after the season pass holders have already bought their season pass, they've gone through the season. Now you're dropping this on them to pay for something that has always been free. Now, for what it's worth, the parks in the Cedar Fair chain that were Paramount parks, the Fear Fest under the Paramount Park model was a separate event. You could go
Yep.
in for Kings Island during the Paramount's Kings Island during the day, but I forget what time it was. 5 o'clock, they cleared the park out,
Yep.
and then you had to come back in as a separate gate. So I get it. It's a good money situation for something that's an innovative that will attract people, but at the same time, you had people pay for season passes last year
Yep.
for an event this year that's historically been included in your season pass. I
Yeah.
think they're going to get a lot of blowback on that. I think they could have announced that last fall, that hey, by the way, mazes and haunted attractions are going to be an upcharge next year. You could have done that before you made the season passes available, or make that announcement for 2026. I just think it's going to be another stain on the in what's been kind of a bad year for news for the six parks chain this year.
Yeah. I mean, in other ways, it's been a good year for news, because for the legacy Six Flags parks, it's been a really great year. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that is absolutely fair. I'm with you. Do you think, let's say they had announced it perfectly. They had announced it right now, and or a year ago, and said, "Hey, just so you know, if you're buy a season pass right now, next year's haunt, you're not going to get the haunted houses included." If that's something that would change your decision in
Mm-hmm.
buying this pass, if they had done that, then do you think they would people would be okay with this, or do you think you'd be okay with it?
Uh, well, let me go from the get go here. I have no horse in this race because I don't go
Sure.
through the haunted mazes anyway. I'm
Okay.
just speaking as a pass holder, in knowing that it almost be like on your season pass when you buy it, says it's good for yeah, I'm paraphrasing here. I don't know what the exact verbiage is, but good for the
Sure.
regular season haunt and Winterfest.
Yep.
That would be almost like saying that regular season haunt that included, but now we're going to charge you for coming into Winterfest. Well, and I know they say that haunt is included in it, but it doesn't really get descriptive. And maybe I just haven't read the fine print, that maybe this is something that was in the fine print always and just wasn't announced.
I doubt it. Yeah.
I just think it's something that it's not going to go well. I
Yeah.
think there's going to be a lot of pushback from people on that, and I think I've seen some of the social media circles. It's already getting a little bit. And again, I understand when some of the Paramount parks were before Cedar Fair, it was a different event or a separate event. I get that, but I'm thinking this year going to a Cedar Fair park, when you go to the park and you face this $30 upcharge that wasn't there last year. Essentially, unless you're having completely brand new experiences all over the haunt attractions, this year essentially you're paying $30 for something you went to for free last year, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you participating for free last year.
Yeah.
And I think each park probably gets one or two new attractions for their haunt event, but it's definitely if there's 10. I don't know how many there are. If there's 10, I guarantee there's not going to be 10 new attractions. There might be one or two.
This is fair.
And I think it's just a bad PR move.
Yeah. So 3 points I want to make. One, I agree. If you're gonna do an upcharge for your haunt, you better have a good haunt. Think about
Yes.
your Halloween Horror Nights. That's amazing. They can get away with charging it. And think about, by the way, Knott's Scary Farm. Knott's Berry Farm has always been doing this separately ticketed event model. If you're there, you didn't get to go to haunt for free last year or 5 years ago or whatever. It's always been
Nothing's changed for them.
Yeah. But the other point number two, I do think there is a difference between saying you can't go to the haunted houses anymore and saying like you're not allowed to come into the park for Winterfest. I think just excluding the haunted houses, it's still bad. Don't get me, it is bad. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's less of a big deal than if they had, said it was like a separately ticketed event, like gone to the Not Scary Farm model. The other thing I want to ask, though, this isn't really a point. This is just a question. Is there any indication that this is happening wider than just King's Dominion? Because in my head, this was going to be like a trial run at King's Dominion to kind of see what happens, and then maybe in 2026 they would roll it out across the rest of the Legacy Cedar Fair parks.
Maybe. The screenshots that I've seen or the news basically seems to be directed at King's Dominion. So I don't know. Most people are saying that, or I'm sorry, most of the comments I've seen is like, well, if it's going here, it's going to go across the chain. And I can't really see them doing something in only King's Dominion, nowhere else, without the King's Dominion people saying, okay, why do we have to upcharge and no one else has to pay? So things have happened. It starts with one park and then it just goes out to the others. Like I think a couple of weeks ago, the much smaller drink cups came out for your season pass drink plan, which doesn't matter. It's a smaller cup, but if you get a refill every 15 minutes, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
They are smaller than what they used to be, and it started. I think it started at King's Dominion, and now it's come to the other parks. So generally speaking, some of these things they start at one, maybe gauging what the guest reaction is at that one park, and before it gets to the others, they'll modify it.
Sure.
I honestly can't see a $30 upcharge making it to September when they launch the haunt events. Maybe in some manner or form, but I think $30 for something that was free up until 5 minutes ago might be a little steep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would have thought like
that's my
15 or 20 would be what they would charge, but 30 is definitely going to make them more money. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So this
I think it could affect. I definitely think it may affect season pass sales in the upcoming year.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe very very well could. I mean, haunt at least at Kings Island. I can't really say for the other parks because I don't know, but Kings Island haunt is hugely popular. It's crowded every single night.
It is. Now there's a little I don't know what you would call it, a little move that I did one year, and I don't know why. Thankfully maybe I just do boring stuff, and this is a story that stuck for whatever reason, but I guess it's something that I was known for doing at least once. Coming into the park, we are going to go in. This is at night, and if you've been past Kings Island, the parking lot is very wide. It's just a huge parking lot between the north entrance and the south exit.
Yeah,
because it encompasses the entire front of the park and extends on past the wooded area and onto the water park.
Yep.
It's massive parking lot.
It is, yeah.
And we pulled in there, and I don't know if we were going to go in there and walk around, or we had the meal plan. We were just going to go in and just take in the sights for a couple hours or whatever. I pulled in the north lot. There wasn't any parking spots there. People were parked in the grass. So like, nope, not doing that. So I came, checked in the north lot, drove straight through and right out the south exit. I'm like, not doing this. So it is hugely popular.
Yeah,
it is a very popular. Probably one of the. It's probably the only time since the ride opened, which is now which was Flight Deck, and then it was Top Gun. The flying coaster on the north end of the park. I think there's a 2-hour wait for that one night during haunt. Wow. Now, if you go to the park now and that's not walk on or 10 minutes, it's a busy day. But that night, in particular, and it wasn't back near when the ride opened. It was a 2 hour wait for that ride.
Wow. I would not wait 2 hours
But
for the bat. I hate to
I
say
would,
it.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't wait 2 hours for any ride. Yeah, I'm too much of a
Really?
puss. That's why we pay the upcharge to go to the Orlando Informer at the Universal.
I guess so.
Because
Yeah, because 2 hours
short
isn't
lines.
even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, talking about this idea of a little bit of an upcharge for a little bit of an experience upgrade in parks. I have an idea, and I have not really thought it through that much. So I want your help and maybe our
Oh boy,
commenters' help as well.
bring it.
So we have the old school theme park model, right? Of like, we're gonna let you in for free. Cedar Point used to be this way. Knoebels is still this way. Fun Spot is this way. We're gonna
I
let you
think
in
all
for
parks
free.
used to be that way.
Yeah, right. I think like Disneyland was the first park that charged for admission and then everything
Hmm.
was free, right? So you go in for free, you pay per ride, you pay to do whatever. Then we have this other view where you pay for admission and then it's not all inclusive because you still have to buy food and stuff like that. But you
Right.
get the experiences for free. You can go see a show for free. You can go see ride your rides. You can go meet characters, whatever it is. That's all included in your ticket. That's what you're paying for to get in. Well, my question, my idea is a hybrid between these two things. So take my it wouldn't work with every park, but take a park like Epic Universe and
Okay.
imagine that you get into Celestial Park, like you got to get into the park for free. But then in order to go in any of the lands, you have to pay some amount of money that's significantly less than what we're used to thinking about a park ticket costing. So maybe with Epic Universe, it's a universal park, so it's like $150 for a day ticket. Maybe you could go into Celestial Park for free, and that's kind of like a city walk now. We have shops and stuff like that. You can go and spend money there and whatever. But to go into How to Train Your Dragon Land, and then once you're in How to Train Your Dragon Land, you can ride anything, you can see any of the shows, all included. But to go in there, it's $35. And then if you
Okay.
also want to go into Harry Potter, that's $35 more. Dark Universe, 35, they're all $35. Maybe $120, you can buy a ticket that gets you like a park hopper, a ticket into all
Okay.
four. And it gives people the chance to say, I have 4 hours. I'm not going to spend money on a day ticket, but maybe I will spend money on a ticket to go ride a few of the rides into How to Train Your Dragon Land because you can like divvy up your product a little
Right.
bit. Maybe it gives them a chance to make a little more money on people who wouldn't spend a whole day there. There's my idea.
Okay. That that would depend. Now, if you go to and this is my opinion, if you go to the old theme park model, it is a true theme park where you have different. Taking for instance, Disney World, they have, I think it's 5 to 7 distinct lands. Now, in a such situation like that, and even old Kings Island or Kings Dominion, when they were originally designed, they had 5 or 6 distinct areas,
Yep.
and you could separate them off, and they were themed differently. I think that model could work if you were, and I haven't been to Epic Universe, and much can be made about that from our past episodes with Cassie Tucker. But no, I haven't been there. Have you been there?
Yes.
Never mind, I know the answer. So if you go to a park that has very specifically themed areas, I think that could work.
Yeah.
Because also, if you go to a park that has the kids area, when I go to an amusement park now, my daughters are all grown up. They don't go to the kids area anymore, and unless there's some sort of a food kiosk that I want to go to in the kids area,
Yeah.
I largely skip it. So if you were to pay X number of dollars for four of the other lands, but at the same time you don't have to pay for admission to the kids area, which you're not going to go to anyway, I could see that being if you're not a season pass holder and you're a day trip person, I think that could be a concept that would work. It would
Yeah.
also maybe disperse the crowds out a little bit.
Maybe.
But in a theme park, in a amusement park setup where it's just a mashup of rides, eh,
Way
it's
harder. It's pretty much
yeah,
impossible. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, think about trying to do that at Cedar Point. You're not good. I mean, the only thing, and now
Well,
this is an interesting like alternative to this idea because like you could do it with Frontierland. That's a pretty distinct lane,
mhm,
but the front of the park now it's all a big mesh of rides.
yeah,
So maybe instead of doing you pay per land, maybe you pay admission at the gate, but then you have an upcharge land. This is I hear the commenters saying you hate fun, this would be terrible, terrible PR.
Hmm.
But like, think about how hugely popular. Oh, I'm gonna forget what it's called. Oh, Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disneyland. It's this
Okay.
whole new area that has like 5 castles. Like, they have Anna and Elsa's castle in Arendelle. They have Rapunzel's tower. They have Belle's castle. Like, they literally have like 5 castles, and they all have a ride in them. It's like one of the coolest areas in the world. You can't get into that area when it opened. All the rides were on the virtual queue system, and you couldn't even go into the area unless you had gotten the virtual queue for the ride.
Hmm.
So it makes you wonder, like maybe they just say, "Hey, you don't get your Tokyo Disneyland ticket, $100 a day, because that's a little cheaper over there. But if you want to add on the ability to go to Fantasy Springs, $40 more. I think this could. I mean, thinking about it, it would suck if as a person that's there. But when a new land opens, it could be a way that they could price some people out
Yeah.
to disperse their crowds a little better and make more money back on that investment in the very short term.
Yeah. I think a hybrid model would be very interesting to see how different places would implement that.
Yeah.
I definitely think it could work. And I think crowd control is another piece that would help. In one of the news items that we cut out and we were not talking about is one of the parks, and I won't get into which one because it's not important, but they're reinstituting a chaperone policy. A lot of times, these chaperone policies come along because, quite frankly, some of the people have season passes. They don't have skin in the game. If they get kicked out that day, so what? I'll go back the next weekend.
Yeah.
And so the chaperone policy is a very unfortunate development, recent development in the theme park industry. But at the same time, if you did have some of these upcharge pieces and you only have people there that have skin in the game, whereas if you pay $40 to go to XYZ land, and if you act up there, if you do what you're not supposed to do and you're kicked out, you're out that $40.
Yeah. That's
So I mean,
true.
I see upsides to it. I see downsides to it, but I think that I don't know. Let's plug into AI and see what AI says about it.
It can give us like 45 different answers, and maybe some of them will
Yeah,
be good.
exactly.
That's the great part about AI. You try it a bunch, and sometimes it works. Yes.
I think it's a decent idea. And I tell you what, here's an idea. You got your Planet Coaster, or you have Planet Coaster 2 or Roller Coaster Tycoon. Try that to see if you
Yeah.
could do separate gates or charging more for other attractions in there, and see what the Sims do.
Okay. Maybe that's the move. Maybe that's the move. I mean, at some point, it's kind of just making a mini resort. You're kind of just turning your one park into 4 parks, and just calling them 4 parks, even though that's really one park,
Right.
and then charging less for them. Like, it's not really that different than what like imagine if Disneyland or Disney World only offered park hopper tickets, and like everything was, your $250 a day, which is what you pay for a park hopper ticket. That would be different, and they would probably do less well because there would just be people
Mm-hmm.
who were not willing to pay the 250 for the park hopper tickets.
To an extent, it's a Cedar Point kind of that way because you have Cedar Point, the amusement park, and Cedar Point Shores. Is that what the water park's called?
It is.
That's not part of your ticket. That's it.
No,
That's an upcharge.
is Kings Island not that way? Can you get into Soak City with the Kings Island day ticket for free?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know. Okay, I
You
figured
work
most
there. You
parks
didn't
were
know
like.
that?
No, I didn't know that. That's bad,
How
but
many years
I
did you
guess
work there?
it's like 2.5. I guess I should have known that though, because
Okay.
the train takes you straight there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they
I
don't
you know,
check your
and
admission or anything.
I could see that they could possibly do a separate gate for that. I don't know how that would work. I think that it would definitely be with some of the cost cutting measures, some of the revenue things they're trying to do. I could see something like that possibly take an experiment.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I
I
mean,
It would be
water park
interesting, but right
tickets are
now it
usually
is
a lot
free.
cheaper. Like Worlds of
I'm
Fun,
sorry.
water park tickets are just usually a lot cheaper.
Right.
Worlds of Fun, Oceans of Fun, those are separate gates for sure. And like the Worlds of Fun tickets, $55 or something, and Oceans of Fun tickets like $25. So that, I don't know. I don't know. This is an interesting point for sure.
I'm sure something is going to happen in the at least an experiment for it will happen in the near future. I could see that happening.
Maybe they'll experiment at King's Dominion with it, and then the King's Dominion people will get mad.
Maybe.
No, but what else is it? sort of food for thought maybe is like it costs money to make a change like that. Like you have to come up with your new ticket pricing. You have to have people working on
Hmm.
how the tickets are going to be distinguished. You have to have a new computer programmer write in some code on how to make your system different and only read those tickets and not read these tickets. And I mean, it's going to cost money to do that. And so you might need more admissions people. Like at the train, for
I'm sure
example,
they
you're going to
would.
have someone scan in more admissions over there. So all in all, it would be interesting to see if it would actually be a thing that's going to make you money, but with the cost of implementation. I don't know. I just don't know.
If it wouldn't have been for Canada's Wonderland having Alpha Fury open, probably would have been a very dead week news wise.
Yeah. Yes. Probably true. And I feel like there was some piece of Disney news this week, but maybe not.
I think Tom Sawyer's Island officially closed, didn't it? Or is that last?
Yeah, we got that on the episode the show last week. I guess technically in Disney news is that Test Track and Disney Starlight open like by the day this releases and tomorrow. So Starlight debuts tonight if you're listening to this on the day of release, and Test Track opens back up to the public tomorrow, which are two pretty big pieces. But I
Will
thought there
you
was
be
something
going?
else. I don't know. I'm a cast member, but I'm not speaking on behalf of the company in any way. But my tickets don't work for Magic Kingdom right now because there's a lot. It's super crowded, and they're prioritizing getting the guests
Hmm.
in to Magic Kingdom. To Test Track, I've already ridden. I've ridden the new Test Track. I got to do my
Hmm.
preview last week. It's pretty awesome. I must say, it's very fun. But yeah, I don't know when I'll get to see Starlight. I hope soon.
No, we're recording right now, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Now, have the for the most part has Disney returned to pre-pandemic levels or even gone past them?
absolutely. They've gone past that.
International
They're
travel
doing
came
really
back
well.
like full force last year because I remember going around the park and of course you come across this group from Brazil or Argentina, wherever they're from, and they got the big sign they're holding up, and all these people in the same color shirt are following that going around the park,
They're from
and you're
Brazil.
thinking, yeah, well, I just pulled that out. I think they're from whatever country,
No,
but
I'm
at the same
serious.
time,
There's so much Brazilian tourism to Orlando. It's really a phenomenal group of
do they still do they hold the
fans.
sign up that says whatever group
Big
they're with?
time. Big time. Yep.
And of course, you want to go to Space Mountain, and you see them going towards it, and you're running to get in front of them because you're thinking, if I don't get in front of them, that's 100 people going to that line. The line may not be the long, but they're bringing it with them.
That's funny. That's so funny. Yeah, that's yeah. International travel is doing great. The hotels attendance is higher than ever. The occupancy rate in the hotels is outrageous right now.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah, they're doing awesome stuff.
So now, when Epic Universe like truly takes form and a lot more infrastructure goes down Universal Boulevard to prop up the park, and International Drive and Universal Boulevard become this big entertainment mecca that's going to have probably in the next 5 years a lot more hotels than there are right now.
Yeah,
I don't know how many are going to be there, but if you go down there, at least the last time I was on Universal Boulevard, which is probably back in April, it's not super built up yet. It's starting, but it's not super built up yet.
yeah,
So when that all happens, the Orlando airport, I don't know how that's gonna. Seriously, they got Concourse C, but it's not as big as it is. It
yeah,
doesn't have near the gates that the terminals A and B have, and they
yeah,
already have 75 million people flow through there anyway. So where they're gonna have to go through a lot more infrastructure. The interstates that go through town, the highways 535 and 417, they're gonna have to expand those again,
yeah.
and
And
it's gonna be
528
interesting.
too. It's yeah. And
Did I say
the
535
Orlando,
or 528?
well, all three of those though. 535 too. The Orlando airport also is going to be the home to the Brightline stop that is going to
It
connect.
already is, isn't it?
Right now it is, but
But
it
it goes
just goes,
east.
yeah, just down southeast to Miami. Soon that's going to go to the hopefully the parks, but definitely to Tampa. It's definitely going to go. So I
Right.
mean, there's just going to be a lot of people coming in to that airport for that too. They're
But
going
you
to need
say
to spend some
soon.
money on the airport.
When is it going to go west from the airport? Is there
Well,
a date for that?
That's the question. Supposedly, Brightline is basically done building the track from Tampa up until about Disney. And the rest of the track,
Really?
they want the city of Orlando to build it, to pay for it. And that way it can double as not only the Sunrail, but also Brightline, the Orlando commuter rail system, and have like stops at iDrive and at the parks and stuff like this. But there's just a lot of red tape that comes with that part of the project being public, of course. So we'll see. I think it maybe 2028 or something like that, but I don't really see
Really?
it coming before then. Yeah.
Really? That's a long time.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
honestly, it is something where I could really, if you're a taxpayer down there in publicly funded projects like that, yeah, anytime that happens, people get all up in arms about that. But I can think of no other taxable item that would have a shorter return on investment than the bright line going from the airport to the resorts. Not just
I
Disney,
know.
because I don't think Disney's getting their wish in Disney terms of having a dedicated line from the airport to the Disney properties, right?
Right. And that's why that's actually been a point of delay. It got delayed by like a year because Disney was like, well, if we're not going to get that, then we don't want you to build this. And we're like, they had put some money in for the funding of the project before the project, the like research to see if it was going to be worth the taxpayer
Mm-hmm.
investment, which is a thing you have to do on public projects. They were going to fund that whole research. And then Universal was like, hey, we'll pay some money too if you put a stop where for us. And City of Orlando was like, of course, that way it's by the convention center and all that. And Disney was like, oh no, if you're giving Universal a stop, we're cutting our money back. And they eventually came to an agreement with
Right.
Universal, and they're all paying now. But it's that did, I think, set it back a little bit.
So where is the International Drive station going to be?
If you are familiar with Orlando and you know where the Destination Parkway, like, do you know where Destination Parkway is? Basically, right by the Orange County Convention Center.
Okay.
So to Universal, especially to Epic Universe, that's super close. And then Universal will no doubt have buses that are running to all of their resorts and parks
Right.
from that new bus or new train station.
So now I know the Disney station was supposed to be at or near Disney Springs. Is there has that been announced where that might be?
I think that Disney Springs is the most recent thing I've heard. That's still the plan, but there's no
It's still the
semblance
play.
of
I thought it was.
construction.
I thought that was axed.
Oh, really? That could be. Maybe
Well, I don't know. I thought maybe it
they
was. I don't.
it could be. I mean, you could build a separate station for it, like just
Yeah,
a whole new place.
you can, but the
It's more
infrastructure has to
expensive.
be there to be able to get people from the station to the resort.
Yeah, I mean, they would add buses in. They could, the Disney bus system. They'll just add a bunch of new lines if they need to, rather than
Or those
flooding
old
the
Magical
Disney
Express
Springs.
buses just sitting back being waited for being used again, because I think that was phased out initially because they thought the train was going to be ready by the time they phased it out.
Whoa, that's
Well, I
fascinating.
don't. I'm speaking. I don't know if that's true or not. I think
That's
that's
still
true.
an interesting theory. I mean, that makes sense. Also, though, like they're just kind of rolling it back in. Like Pop Century, if you're staying at Pop Century, you can drop your luggage off at the front desk and they'll deliver it to the airport and give it to your airline like they used to back in the day. And they had gotten rid of that when they got rid of the Magical Express, and now they're looking at rolling it back out. So they put it at one of their resorts. So maybe you're right. I mean, that gives me reason to think
Maybe I
so.
don't know.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Public
It is.
transit.
Honestly, I think public transit. I can't believe that certain population centers aren't farther along with public
Yeah,
transit
it's
than what they
terrible.
are. I mean, with Orlando, definitely makes a ton of sense for it, especially massive tourist hubs like Orlando is.
Yeah,
There's really the only way to get around there is a rental car or a shared drive or
a bunch
shared
of
whatever it's
Ubers,
called,
ride shares.
Uber,
Yeah,
Lyft. Yeah, rideshare. That's what I'm thinking of.
yeah.
That's really the only way to get around.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Only
Yeah,
Washington D.C., Chicago, and New York are actually have good enough. Like the MARTA in Atlanta is good, but it's not good enough. America just needs to lock in and get better at public transit. But the Cincy Metro, I will say, it's pretty good. It's a for a bus service. It's pretty good. They run pretty
Is it?
often. Yeah, it is.
I don't have a lot of experience on that. I I have been on the Cincinnati Bell connectors. That was called, or it's not called
Yeah,
Cincinnati Bell anymore.
the
What's it
connector,
called now? Because
just the connector. Yeah,
just a connector.
yeah,
And I hope no one from Cincinnati is listening to this, but well, from Cincinnati, anyway. But so the ridership went up. I don't know, 200% one year, and that's when they went from charging for riding to you can just get on and ride.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, yeah, of course it went up 200%. You're not charging for it, but I don't know
Yeah.
if they changed that or not.
No,
But
it's still free.
it's is a free.
Yeah,
My only really, I think a light rail in the city of Cincinnati. It's not really a destination downtown. It's getting more that way, but at the same time, I would contend that when they built it, they of course went from the ballpark, the stadiums downtown, up to Findlay Market,
yeah,
which is great. But at the same time, another tourist area over there is the casino. It's blocks away from the casino,
yeah,
and is some of those areas are developing. They're nicer than they used to be, at least when they launched that out.
yeah.
But from where I sit, the light rail makes a ton of sense, maybe, but it's not
Big
doesn't
enough.
encompass enough of
It's.
Cincinnati.
I'm with you. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. It would be great if it could get up to Clifton too. I mean, can you imagine? And yes,
It would, but is there anything other than UC up there? I've heard
no.
that if they could go up the hill, that would be great. But other than the UC and maybe get close enough to Xavier,
Well,
would there be
Clifton's
enough there?
getting nicer and nicer. I mean, like the whole area down by the Esquire. This is just a Cincinnati podcast in this little
It is.
part here,
And maybe
but
we don't. Maybe we cut this part off. But
that's all right. But no, I do think Clifton, people like it, and also just for the students to be able to get downtown, like that's the biggest deal. You have 30,000
that's
kids
true.
there who are gonna ride it to go downtown to go to the games or the bars or whatever it is. So
The interesting piece, I don't think Cincinnati is unique in this. In a
yeah,
lot of downtown areas, they're becoming more residential than they are commercial.
yeah,
It's like the Carew Tower used to be an office building, one of the tallest office buildings in Cincinnati. I think has to be the tallest one in Cincinnati. But if I'm not mistaken, they're converting it to condos.
really,
In the old Tower Place Mall is now a parking garage. And so,
wow,
interestingly, 20 years ago, people didn't live in downtown Cincinnati, in largely downtowns. Period. But when COVID came through and people were working from home, and people don't really want to do that commute, all you have is all these open and empty office spaces that they have to do something with. Some
yeah,
offices return, but I think at the same time, I think people at least in Cincinnati, it's interesting how the different generations have gravitated to certain areas. My sister's in her late 50s, when she was in her 20s, they gravitated to I believe it was Mount Adams,
yeah,
and
sure.
then
Oh, man.
the generation after that, they gravitated a little bit to the suburbs.
Yeah,
My generation, I think we gravitate a lot to Norwood. And I think, interestingly, I think the tail end of the millennials and some of the Gen Z is going to gravitate towards the downtown or more urban areas. And I would include places like Liberty Township, where you have the Liberty Center. I think a lot of young people live in areas where there's a lot of people congregated together. And
yeah,
I think
for sure.
it's led to a rebirth of downtown areas in
Which
a
is
different
cool.
path than what's been recently.
Yeah, super cool. That is an
Yeah,
interesting one. And rebirth of downtown areas means new places to put theme parks
yeah,
and attractions. Like maybe if there's more people living downtown, our Ferris wheel from 2018 or whatever will work this time because there's people that can just walk there from their condos. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway. But anyway.
could be.
Well,
Well, cool.
thanks. Yes.
Goodness, yeah, I can't believe we talked this long. Blown a lot of hot air out.
I guess so. Right. Right. Well, we're both definitely full of the hot air. So
Yes.
good that we
Well,
have
looking
somewhere.
forward to hearing from your trip next week,
Yeah.
and upload those YouTube shorts, and who's going on this trip with you. You don't have to
So
name by name, but there are the people that
they're people
the
I went to
usual
high school with.
suspects.
Yes, the usual
Okay,
suspects. We've
usual
been on a lot of
suspects.
trips together. If you ever go to, I used to run a YouTube channel back in my youth, called
Your
the
youth.
Yeah, right. I was like 12, so I was pretty uh called the Coaster Nerd. And if you go on there, you'll know all the guys from there. But
Didn't you have a kind of a small roller coaster built in your backyard?
I did. Yes, I did build a roller coaster in my
You got to
backyard.
post some of those pictures.
During COVID, I built that. Yes. But all right, maybe I'll do that too. Thanks for checking us out either way. We will not have an episode for you next week, but the week after that we'll be back.
We may
Stronger than ever.
repost some of the other episodes from maybe from when Ryan and Don were hosting, and maybe
Yeah.
some of the others that were popular that when we started out back in January. And there'll be stuff posted next week. It just won't be recent.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Well,
All right.
thanks for checking us out. Comment, subscribe, share, and come back for the next video on the Attractions Group podcast.